Alright guys, looking at the review sheet that was on your day sheet today, this is a review for the quiz that is tomorrow. Alright, let's look at number 1. Draw all possible axes of symmetry for the following figure. So here's a rectangle. I can go right across the middle, and I can go right down the middle with this vertical line. But I cannot draw a diagonal. If I drew a diagonal, the axis of symmetry means that I can flip it over the axis and it still looks exactly the same. You can see if I flipped it over this line, this would come up here and down here. It would look the same, but it would be rotated, and that's not okay. It needs to look exactly the same. All right, what type of symmetry does this figure have on the right? Well, it definitely has reflectional symmetry because I can draw at least one line that I can fold it across. So it has reflectional. I would say it also has rotational symmetry because I can actually turn it and it would look exactly the same. I could take this point, return it down there, and it would look the same. All right, what's the measure of the central angle of a dodecagon? A dodecagon has 12 sides. So in order to find central angle, I take 360 degrees and I divide it by the number of sides, which we just said was 12. 360 divided by 12 is actually 30 degrees. And the reason we had you find out the central angle measures was because it went with rotational symmetry. 30 degrees is the amount the polygon can be rotated. So 30 degrees and any multiple of 30 degrees. All right, given that the central angle measurement of a regular polygon is 40 degrees, we want to know how many sides does it have and what is the name. So basically, we took 360 and divided it by the number of sides and got 40. This tells us that n is 360 over 40, which is just 9. That's the number of sides. The name for this polygon is a nonagon. And you need to know the names from 3 sides all the way up to 12 sides. All right, identify 2 characteristics that all parallelograms have. I would say that opposite sides are congruent and opposite angles are congruent. But there are lots of characteristics and you actually need to know all of them. Use the diagram and information to answer the following questions. We are told it is a rhombus, which tells us lots of things. It tells us all the sides are equal. It tells us that opposite angles are equal. It tells us that the diagonals bisect each other and they meet at a 90-degree angle. Okay? All of the properties of rhombuses are on that check sheet that you have to know. Okay, knowing this, knowing that AB is 6, tells us all the sides are 6. Knowing that AC is 8, tells us that each part is half of that, it's 4. And knowing that ABC is 30 degrees, ABC, this whole angle is 30 degrees, tells us that this angle is 30 degrees. It also tells us that the other angles, A and C, are supplementary to 30, which means these have to be 150 degrees. All right, let's answer our questions now. What's the measure of angle ADC? ADC, we just filled that in. It's 30 because it's opposite ABC. AEB is 90 because those diagonals are perpendicular. BC has the same measure of AB, so it's 6. AE is half of the diagonal because they bisect each other, so it's 4. BAD, we have just said is 150 degrees because it's supplementary to angle B and angle D. CED is 90 degrees also. It's formed by the diagonals intersecting, and they are perpendicular. CD has the same measure as AB because they are opposite sides and they're congruent. EC has the same measure as AE, so that has to be 4 as well. You have to know all of the properties of rhombuses, parallelograms, rectangles, and squares.